Honorable Mbadi. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask a question on revenue. I believe it is related to development projects and the funding. Mr. Speaker, we have never gotten it right as far as the system on collection or automation of revenue in the counties are concerned. Mr. Speaker, over the years, we have even tried KRA to be collecting revenue on behalf of the counties. Again, recently, there was a proposal that they want to come up with a system that is actually going to take care of revenue automation in the counties, Mr. Speaker, so that we have a uniform system. Mr. Speaker, we are losing a lot of money in those counties, which could have actually complemented the budget allocated by the national government. CS, my question is, since you are the new broom, how can you ensure that the revenues collected at the county level, it's properly collected, and you come up with an automated system in all the counties? Because you will see that cash is collected in all the counties. Yesterday, we had actually Siaya County, where they are still collecting revenue cash. And it's actually 21st century today. Mr. Speaker, my question is, can you be able to come up with actually a system that is accepted across the board? Because governors are actually fighting that system. If you can be able to come up with a system, Kenyans are actually going to save a lot of money as far as revenue collected at the county level is concerned. I thank you.
Senator for Nandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the Cabinet Secretary, and I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. You remember the former CS never stepped in this house even after we sanctioned. I want to thank Mr. Speaker. My simple question is, as at now, Waziri, what is the total pending bill by the national government? Because sometimes we hear that roads are only pending bill of 700 billion. Plus, as of today, what is the total both domestic and international debt that Kenya owes in this country? I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and allow me to join my colleagues in congratulating the CS. And I would want the CS to tell this House the specific amount of money the National Treasury owes in pending bills, and what the government through the Treasury is doing to clear these bills because they're having a negative effect on our economy. Thank you.
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. May I congratulate the Minister and welcome him to the House. I worked with him in the 10th Parliament, in the Budget Committee, and I know how sharp he is. So he's truly the new broom in the House. Mr. Speaker, I had a problem with his first response when he referred us back to the individual ministries to get the pending bills. Does it mean that the Treasury does not know the pending bills and does not have these records? Because our assumption is that all the other ministries, money, as far as money is concerned, respond to Treasury, and when they have pending bills, they should be talking to Treasury. So I thought that was a very important question, that we needed to know the link between the ministries and Treasury as far as pending bills are concerned. Don't they have the data? Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to join my colleagues to congratulate the new CS, a colleague of mine for 10 years in National Assembly. I know you are a smart CS, and we believe you're going to do a lot of things there and help Kenyans. Mine, Honorable Speaker, is a comment from what Senator Dullo said. You know, National Treasury has a system that is centralized, the IBMIS system that basically manages the expenditure at the counties. And I don't see the reason why they should not have an integrated revenue management system for the counties. The governors are fighting because they are stealing by collecting cash, they are stealing by having their own systems with their collaborators. So, Honorable Speaker, I want the CS to commit that by all means, that system, integrated revenue management system, has been rolled to seal the leakages of revenue at the counties.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me say in response to the supplementary question from the questioner, the Senator Catherine Moma, that question number 2, which was asking the specific pending bills that were paid in the financial year in question. It's not that I've refused or my ministry has refused to respond, but this may require a little bit, quite a bit of time because usually when payments are made by the ministries or state departments and MDS, we don't disintegrate that this one is now for pending bill and this is a new bill. We make payments continuously, and then the figure for pending bills are supplied at the end of the financial year. And I'll come to that because that is a question that Senator Margaret Kamar also asked. So I just thought that if maybe there are specific ministries where you are interested in knowing the specific pending bills that were paid, then that would have been supplied easily. But if this House finds that my ministry supplies this information, it will take a while, but we can still supply the information. On whether we could have a template, Honorable Speaker, maybe I just continue. I hope Senator Catherine could attend to...
Senator Muma, if you've abandoned your questions.
Yeah, so she asked whether we could design a template to capture this information. Yes, we could. But again, you know, we have the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, which determines the kind of systems that we use. It is a recommendation that we can put to the board so that they approve it, and then we have a system that would capture some of this information as and when they are onboarded to the system. Again, the Senator, you are spot on that the approved budget is not what is expended. That is true. Our absorption level is very low, especially on donor-funded, so to speak, projects or projects funded through development partners, through loans and grants. And this is because of a number of reasons, some of which are internal, some also relate to the development partners. But a lot of issues is because of us. Number one, most of the donor-funded projects require counterpart funding. Sometimes we put the donor-funded projects in the budget without sufficient provision, or we end up reducing our budgets like it has happened in this financial year when we realize that we can't collect so much. So you find a deficit in the counterpart funding, which then would affect the donor-funded project, because for the development partners to release the money, they must be assured that the counterpart funding is guaranteed and is forthcoming. So that is a serious challenge that we must deal with. Secondly, there are also reporting issues raised by the development partners. But in terms of the strategy going forward, without going into the details why these absorptions have not been forthcoming or have not been smooth, we have a team that is looking into this matter, coordinated from my ministry, and we are going to address all these issues. Actually, just a few days, I think 2 days ago, I was dealing with a case of the Finnish government ready to provide us with grants, not even a loan. But then our delay, our internal systems are complicating the implementation of the same. So these are issues that are efficiency issues which must be dealt with. But there are also the other ones of budgetary issues. Those ones we must also have a strategy on how to make sure that if we are factoring funding in our budget from development partners, there must be a matching funds or the counterpart funding so that when it comes to implementation, the implementation becomes smooth. So that addresses your issue of how then would we ensure the uptake of these development funds. It is something that, especially now that funding is shrinking by the day, we must make sure that we clear the hurdles on these development funded projects. Senator Dullo has raised serious concerns with the collection of revenue at the counties, and I can't agree more. There is already a proposal which has gone to an advanced stage to have a system, a standardized system for collection of revenue in counties. There is no reason why we should operate like we are 48 governments. We are actually a country with devolved systems of governments, but we need to have a standardized system so that if you come from Isiolo, you go to Mbadi, it's almost predictable. If you are a business person, what to pay, and even how to pay it should be standardized. So that process is ongoing. Unfortunately, consensus has not been reached with the Council of Governors. I appeared before the last and my first IBEC meeting, and this matter is still under discussion. I hope soon we are going to find a way forward, because we also don't want to upset the county government, because there is a level of autonomy. We don't want to impose a system on them. It is the responsibility of the Ministry of Finance, which is the National Treasury, to design a system to help all spending units have a system that is efficient. But again, we know that county governments also enjoy some level of autonomy. We want to bridge that gap so that we agree. That, I think, is being coordinated by the Deputy President, who is the chair of IBEC, and soon we will come up with a solution. Honorable Cheragay has asked me a direct question on what is the total pending bills. And your question, I would tie it to the question that has been raised by Senator Margaret Kamar. You know, Senator Kamar, you started wishing me well in the 10th Parliament. I don't know what you saw, but you kept on saying that there is somewhere where I'll reach. I don't know whether now you can tell me whether I've reached where you wanted me to reach, or you still feel I'm going far. But it is not that we don't know how much is pending bills. What is not clear is the authenticity of the pending bills that is being reported. Remember, pending bills in Kenya, we have been using what we call cash basis of accounting. So pending bills or money owed to the government by the government of Kenya to various citizens who are service providers. Actually, we should not even call them pending bills. These are debts owed to people. These amounts, we are not very clear about them, because they don't form the body of our financial statements. In cash basis, they are reported as notes off balance sheet. So they really, we don't treat them with the, we don't give them the weight that we should. We are moving, beginning this financial year, to accrual basis, where now pending bills will form part of our balance sheet, of our financial reporting. But right now, the reports that we have is that pending bills that which were submitted, because we formed the pending bills committee. Yeah? It is called pending bills verification committee. What was submitted to them was 664 billion shillings, owed by the national government, not the counties. Now, these amounts will definitely come down, From the indication, because we have not even received an interim report, I gather that the pending bills may be just in the region of 400 or so billion, meaning about 200 and so billion could have been fictitious. But let me wait for the final report to be submitted, or even an interim report to be submitted by this committee. So we know the pending bills. On roads, which Honorable Charegei mentioned, at least we know that we owe cumulatively about 167 billion to the various road contractors. And that is why you see across the country